And welcome back to more of Hidden Duality. So we're just going to continue on in level 6 here. We got the lens and a few keys in the last part. And we're just going to explore more of pretty much the first floor in this part. And luckily, restarting here doesn't respawn the enemies. Because technically I haven't exited the level yet. Alright, so we're gonna head into the first floor. And we actually haven't gone this way yet. The lens is actually kind of nice for finding some of these rooms, these hidden money rooms. So you can go back to previous levels and then just kind of use the lens to try to find these rooms, because I think there's like one on every floor of every level. Or at least almost every floor. Okay, this room looks completely empty, but, whenever you see checkerboard floors, probably want to stop and take a look. Make sure you have the lens, because, if you use it, you find invisible spikes. And there is something to the right, but I'm just gonna save that for later. I actually have enough keys at this point. Alright, this is another maze path here, and this one you actually do have to go through. So if you have to pay for the info, then, go right ahead. Again, I already have the directions written down, so just kind of go through this. Okay, this room can be kind of annoying. So you have two dig doggers. And a bunch of statue shooters. My fire boomer to get as much damage as I can. Yeah, you need to do that to actually get out of this room. You want to make sure you have at least 3 keys before you start down this path. And if you use your lens, you know the checkerboard floors. You find a hookshot path. Alright, this room. You might have to test a little bit to see which block you push. I actually think you push the upper block here. And that lets you get across to the other side. Well, at least you can use this room for some refills. Okay, this room, you probably, if you can, try to get rid of the bat robe. If you can. It might be kind of hard to get rid of it. Depends where it likes to spawn. And once you get rid of it, then it'll make your pass through these rooms a little easier. Okay, so this room, it's a little tricky with what you do with the blocks here. So your goal is, I believe, to get to the lower right corner so you can get to the door. So you have to do a little bit of a fancy footwork and get to that right side. Alright, this room. Now, before you start going in here, you note the narrow passage. Yeah, there are wall masters in here. Pretty much want to get rid of those wall masters first. That way you can actually enter this room safely. And then just get rid of all the whiz robes. Give yourself a safe path through this room. So if you use your lens, you can actually see a lot of this floor becomes sand. So you kind of have to be fast with shooting that statue there. So I think you want to stand on like this half tile, and then move down as fast as you can. Okay, here you find boots. And it's actually very handy because it makes this level a bit easier. Because what this lets you do, you can walk on the sand without any problems now. And, the spikes, no issue. You can just walk right on this. So it pretty much takes out most of the floor hazards in this level. So it kind of makes the return trip a lot easier. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what you do, you can just walk right on the sand. And just kind of make your way out of this path. And again, there are a lot of hidden spikes in this room, but now that you have boots, it doesn't really matter. You can just go right through this. Make getting to this room a little bit easier. And another little trap maze to go through. Pick up that spare key. And these can be kind of tricky to try to walk through. You kind of have to have fast reflexes to get through the traps without getting hit, so I'm just using the candle to try to buffer some of the damage. try to just damage boost through the traps there. Okay, trying to figure out where to go now. Now that you have boots. Actually, there's a section on the right there we haven't explored yet, so we'll be heading to that passage. And you actually couldn't do much there initially because you actually didn't have boots yet. At least I'm getting some of my bombs back. Okay, actually go on the lower passage, because the upper passage doesn't really lead to anything. Kind of a cramped room here with the 3 Gibtos. And still 1 rope in this room, so it makes it easy to pass through this. Well, at least I got all my bombs back. And now you notice this kind of suspicious spot, and you use your lens, it just kind of confirms it. More free money for you. Now this is actually pretty easy to miss. You notice this torch, and it's kind of covering an area larger than it should be. And it may not be that easy to realize, but you can actually go behind the torch, and it leads you down to the other side of the first floor. And this is kind of easy to miss. Yeah, you're reading that correctly. 25 keys. I think that's level 9 that you have to deal with that. And I think this is one of those pay-for-info spots, at least what he's referring you to. I don't remember exactly what... I think the pay-for-info is for, like, optional dungeons. I have to look at my notes, because I know I already wrote down all the... all the hints, all the pay-for-info stuff. Luckily, this path is pretty linear. Yeah, normally this room would be pretty hazardous, but, given that we have boots now, I think we can walk through this room casually, because look at all the spikes. And even if you manage to get this far without boots, you're gonna pretty much get stuck here. Because again, unless you're really good with your, maybe using your candle to try to boost through the spikes here, you're probably not gonna get through this. Better to come here when you have boots. Pick up another small key. And yeah, that's a one-way passage there, for obvious reasons. Okay, down here is actually one of the maze paths, but again, I kind of already worked behind, I think, 2 of the maze paths, so this one's kind of irrelevant. You know, don't need to worry about that particular maze. Okay, so to get to that little bit of land in the middle there, same trick. Just bomb right in the middle there. And you notice that 50 rupees sitting there. This is that one room you can't, with the chest you can't get to. You're gonna need an item from the next level. I'm pretty much just backtracking back to the start here. And not much in this room. It's pretty much just a one-way path. And normally this room might be a little bit intimidating. But since I can walk on the spikes and sand and stuff, it doesn't really matter. I have plenty of space to work with. Now, you actually don't want to go down because it leads to that one room with the 2 bat robes. It's kind of like a trap room because you have to get the key from, going through walk-through walls. Okay, this way we can't go to quite yet because I don't think we have the boss key. So you can actually go this way, now that we have boots. Well, at least plenty of chances to get bombs back. Yeah, I don't really need that. I'm actually full on bombs at this point. And a small ladder maze here. A little block puzzle here, but I don't think you need to solve this one, actually. So we'll just ignore that and just go this way first. Oh, I can get rid of one of the dongles for free. Okay, so after you clear that room, this guy tells you where level 7's located. And I think it's, I think that's also a typo. I think the swamp is to the west. And I think I showed that in one of the previous parts. Things like in the lower left corner. Yeah, so I already showed that, kind of, you know, cleared most of that area out for easier travel later on. Yeah, you can note the door down there. I think that's where the block puzzle leads you. Pretty much an empty room. And, you know, Lens of Truth will tell you which chest to open, get the boss key. I mean, again, you can solve this block puzzle, and it's not that difficult. But then again, it just leads you to that one dead end. You have to get the boss key by going all the way around. Alright, so pretty much done with this level. The only thing left is just the boss. It's actually a little bit trickier dealing with this boss. So I'm gonna finish this place off in the next part and actually just group some of the earlier levels in as well. Just kind of do some cleanup work. And get a few more heart containers and all that. Alright, see you guys later.